All right, how we doing, YouTubes? We are here to check out some more Kamigawa Neon Dynasty spoilers. And as always, I like to go through the new cards, but this one I'm going to go a bit more structured approach for you. I'm going to give you my first impression, initial knee-jerk reactions to what we're currently seeing, and we'll see how they hold up as more cards get spoiled. You guys hear that? Okay, well... So, as you know, I'm sponsored by Card Kingdom. That's the place to go to buy your cards, to get your pre-release kits if you're trying to do a pre-release at home, all that fun stuff. But all the commotion that's happening right now is my cat, and it's because of these springs. So here's another product placement for you. If you have hardwood floors and a cat, you need to buy some of these plastic springs. I promise you, you will not have a more cost-effective entertainment option for your cat. Because these things were like $10 for a bag of 1,000, and I will never stop finding these things trapped under couches and our washer, and I cannot explain to you how excited they get for these things. You toss them, they hear the little rustle. Look, that's him going to run and find it right now. Moving on to the spoilers, which is what we're here to talk about. Okay, so knee-jerk reactions to seeing something like Hinata, Dawn Crowned. So for Jeskai and one colorless, you get a 4/4 flying trampler. Seems pretty good. He also brings some protection, kind of like a ward-ish kind of effect. Spells you cast cost one less for each target, so the more you target, the cheaper it is. But then your stuff is now protected, where your opponent has to pay one more for each target that they're having. So it's I don't know, I think it's a pretty good payoff, especially for limited. And in seeing this, I was like, okay, blue, red, white, those are always colors that are targeting what your opponent's doing. And it had me thinking, okay, where else are we seeing these 3-color payoffs? I'm hoping, now that we've seen some like Coiling Stalker, seen some Ninjutsu in green, we're going to see some payoffs for the green, blue, black Ninjutsu game plans. And with that, I'm also hoping we see something that helps with like the Mardu, white, black, red, where we're seeing more kind of just aggro vehicle focus, enchantment, artifact type focus. And then with the Jeskai. So I don't know where the other 3-color funsies would come from, because we've also seen that there's the 4 mana color pip cards. That's going to be interesting, but I'm really hopeful and planning on there being some really solid 3-color payoffs in this set. So that's my one thing. Also, from what we're seeing right now, I think black is going to be the best color. We haven't seen a ton of removal, but we know we're going to get more, right? Because it's black. Black will be the best color, and blue-black will be the best dual color combination, because we're seeing a lot of really cost-effective options. We're seeing a lot of flexibility in the early curve plays, which is always important for limited. And then we're seeing like pushed cards like this at Uncommon. Replication Specialist, it's a 3/4 flyer, but whenever you non-token artifact ETBs, you can pay 1 and a blue to create a copy of it. And if it's like an artifact creature, that's going to be huge, huge value. The other thing to take away from this, though, is that if it is a slower set, which I'm going to be very surprised by, but if it's a slower set, blue-black will benefit from that as much as any other color pairing. Right now, I'm also thinking red seems to be the worst removal, or the worst color in the set, but it's going to depend a lot on its removal suite. Removal is just going to be so huge in the set, because we're also seeing cards are getting kind of pushed in the set. I was hoping that it'd be a bit more toned down, but for whatever reason, I'm just getting this vibe of a lot of stuff is going to be pushed, and maybe it's because of the whole mirror box card just has me still tilted at how pushed it is, but it's something that has me genuinely concerned about the future of Magic, if that's going to be par for the course. I'm probably being a little hyperbolic there. Yeah. Okay, next thing that we need to chat about is you 100% are going to need to main deck artifact and enchantment removal in this set. We got cards like this Cloudsteel Kirin. It's a 3/2 with flying for 3 mana. That's pretty good. It's an artifact creature. Nice. It also has Reconfigure, and for 5, you get to equip a creature. The equipped creature has flying, and you can't lose the game, and your opponent can't win the game. Basically, you either have to have removal for their flying creature now, their creature, or you have to have removal for this thing, because if you don't, you can't win the game. And that's stupid. That's going to be such a problem in Limited. I'm so excited to see the amount of games I lose and rage to this card specifically. But yeah, all in all, this set, removal is going to be so, so important with how pushed some of the cards are, with how efficient some of the early plays are, and just overall how obnoxious cards like Cloudsteel Kirin are going to be. Now, you need good removal. You're going to have to main deck the artifact enchantment removal, also because we have so many sagas. You're just always going to have targets for it. You don't have to worry about them being dead cards in your hand. So full stop, main deck artifact and enchantment removal, and you're going to have to prioritize good removal highly. You're going to have to prioritize that highly in the set. Nailed it. Okay. Also, what else? We're going to say that the creature-focused archetypes are going to be the best from a limited standpoint. So that would, again, put blue-black up at the top because it has the ninjutsu theme going. My other caveat to that, though, is that white-red is probably going to be the weakest of those kinds of archetypes because white-red, it just feels so clunky. I mean, we have, like, I really actually like the white-green because it's mostly focused on those the enchantment synergies, but a lot of the enchantments are going to be enchantment creatures. So you're getting a ton of value from your enchantment plays. Your creatures are getting buffed. Weaver of Harmony is going to be an awesome card because you're able to copy target activated or triggered abilities. So who knows what other targets you're going to have for that. Being a 2/2 Anthem effect for your board is going to be really helpful, in limited especially. I think white-green's going to be really good. I think white-black's going to be really solid. I think white-red is going to be the clunkiest because it's got this just constant wanting to attack with one creature. And if there's decent removal or decent interaction early on in the game, it's going to be, I don't know, it'll be interesting to see how, if those attacks and those triggers you get from the samurai warrior creatures that you have, if those are impactful enough to where you win the game, because you can attack with one creature and you get so much value every time you attack with that one creature. Great. But right now I'm not convinced. I feel like blue is just blue seems by itself better than red or white. So yeah, blue black, blue white, blue red, all the above. Blue red I think will also be really good in this format, better than we've seen it in other formats because there's so many artifact creatures we're seeing. So you're going to have synergies from the artifact ETB, from playing enough artifacts. You're not going to be struggling to have the payoffs and then the cards that activate said payoffs. Usually those are what are in contention with each other, is that you don't have enough of each or you don't draw enough of each, and the fact that both will hit or check both boxes, that's going to make it a way, way better archetype in this set. Also, You Are Already Dead is just a hilarious card that I think everyone is just shocked at how good it is. For 1 black mana, you destroy target creature that was dealt damage this turn, and you get to draw a card. The fact that it's a cantrip seems kind of nutty, right? I mean, that just seems kind of nutty. We get to see Spell Pierce coming back into Standard. This card induced a lot of rage moments for people because for 1 blue, you are countering a potentially monster spell. It's a huge mana swing for the blue player. It's a huge annoyance for everyone trying to play around it. It's going to counter a lot of Ranger classes for those of you that are playing Standard or Brawl on Arena right now. That 1 in a green enchantment that creates the 2/2 and then lets you eventually start putting 1/1 counters on everything. This card coming back into Standard is going to be crazy, and 100% you're going to want to play around it in Limited because we're going to have a lot of artifacts and enchantments being played, as we already talked about. Spell Pierce will be an awesome, one of the best blue interaction spells in the set. And then the last thing, I think artifacts, our vehicles namely, are going to be actually really good in this set, which is another reason to main deck the artifact and enchantment removal. We have seen, and by we I mean Wizards has seen enough of how vehicles work and don't work in Limited. They know which cards specifically are going to be playable versus not playable. And generally speaking, if my hunch that things are being pushed more in the overpowered direction, and vehicles have just really never gotten a ton of love, like yes, there's been mythics and such in the past that have been constructed playable, that have done work great. And in Limited, there's always those kind of push. There's the Mythic Uncommon in Kaladesh, the one that got a counter on it every time you attacked and a trample and yada yada. But I don't think that they're looking to just keep printing vehicles that literally are in the sideboard every time and never get played. I think they're only going to be printing good vehicles, and that's going to make the blue, white, red, white game plan a little better. But because artifacts are often, or the vehicles are often going to be colorless, that's just going to make them solid plays in just about every deck that could be played. And then lastly, let's just check out what was our 4. This like gain control of target artifact or creature, untap it. Neat. For 5 mana, you steal something really good. I'm going to be curious if you're playing a 2-color deck and you're even down the middle, if these 4 pip cards are going to make the cut. I need to see how much mana fixing in the set. Like that's going to be a big determinant as well on the 3-color or 3+ color payoffs that are in the set. I hope that we have enough because I love when you can do janky builds like that and you can do more than what is expected or follow kind of the same gameplay line. I love having that flexibility. And then Fang of Shigeki, this card's going to be bonkers, I think, in the 1-drop spot for the green decks because it helps you really trigger the ninjutsu effect because a 1/1 death touch you just don't want to block because you're losing whatever you block with it. it's going to be interesting. You know, the removal, having to find those ways in to attack and deal damage. Ninjutsu's going to make things super tense. I feel like this set, if nothing else, is going to cause as much anxiety as we've ever had playing Magic in a limited setting, because everything you do, your opponent's going to have either some reaction to or some response to, depending on how you play around it. I'm hoping that makes me excited to play it the more I dig into the set. My biggest fear maybe is that this is just going to be a Prince and Pauper format where you get more pushed cards, therefore you win. That's my biggest concern right now. Beyond the whole future of Magic and Wizards pushing too many cards to where no one cares about collecting them. Maybe that's going off the deep end. Maybe not. But at the end of the day, the game's about having fun, and as long as you're having fun, who cares? So let's wrap it up. Buy these springs for your cats if you got hardwood floors and stuff. Throw that over there. Jax will come running down the stairs and grab it. Check out Card Kingdom if you're going to buy some cards. Let me know if you like this more organized fashion where I kind of have some points that I go through and talk about some of the more recent cards and spoilers and why I'm thinking the way that I am, or if you just like me going through reading the cards and giving you my kind of brainstorming reaction to it. Love to hear that. Thank you all for watching. Thank you to my patrons. Thank you to Card Kingdom. Can't say it enough. Use my affiliate link. It really helps me out, helps me keep making this kind of content, and helps them know that they need to keep sponsoring me to make this kind of content. I'm going to leave you all to it. I'll be back. I'm going to be out of town again for this weekend, but then we're back at it. We're getting the pre-release guide out. It's going to be a fun week next week as well. Wish you all the best. Happy Thursday. Take it easy, my friends. Peace.